Welcome to 2.5 Brains. This is the Amazing Race episode 12, the season finale of season 32. We're going to talk all about it, break it all down. We're dressed nice. It's finale night. Going to talk all about what happened and who won and kind of what all transpired throughout the race to get us to the end, and some fun stuff to talk about at the end as well. Be sure to subscribe so you get all the updates. Don't miss anything. Even though it's the last episode of the season, we still have plenty of things to talk about in the future. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can tweet me directly. You'll grab a Gabba. You can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Pavement Road Productions, and email the show at pavementroadproductions@gmail.com as well. So you communicate and give us your feedback. Also subscribe and comment away, tell your friends, and share the posts. Let's go ahead and bring in the other part of this show. This is 2.5 Brains. It's also the Boob, the Babe, and the Bubbas.
Oh boy.
And the boy. Bubbas. He's here to say hi.
There you go.
Sorry. In the way, taking up
Taking up
space.
the whole camera. I can just stay off the camera. That's
No.
fine. I'll yell from the other room.
Yes. How do you find you on Twitter? Not that either one of us really on Twitter anymore.
Just T20.
Great. So this was the season finale. Season 32, the 32nd season. We should kind of talk about the finale, how it went, what transpired, and I want to kind of talk about what's coming up in the future, but at this point, we don't even really know. Season 33 was started to be filmed, and they shut it down in production, so we don't really know if that's going to happen, if they bring back the same teams, kind of what they're going to do, if they're going to just reset. We really don't know much about what kind of was going on with 33, and I don't. Kind of like Survivor, even if the U.S. gets everything under control with the pandemic, we really don't know what other countries are going to be doing, and especially with being able to get a passport to go into other countries right now is probably going to be pretty difficult, especially for the frivolous act of being on a reality TV show.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't expect it to be airing anytime soon. I would expect probably 2022 at the earliest for the next installment of any of these shows, honestly. Which I know you're devastated by.
Sorry, just kidding.
But we'll see what happens. As of right now, I have no idea. Even the sites I watch and the where I get my information from, it hasn't really been given too much information. So yeah. I really couldn't say.
Yeah.
But to Jessica's chagrin, we must move on, and we must talk about this season finale and kind of break it all down and do the broad strokes of the whole episode. So we started in the middle of the Philippines. Mm-hmm. They drove back across.
Well, they didn't drive. They flew back across to New Orleans.
Flew to New Orleans, flew across the Pacific Ocean, across California, and down to New Orleans, Louisiana.
First class.
First class, for sure, yep. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where it ended. Now, one thing I do want to mention, the last few seasons, and I feel it's production cost. I feel like it's, other things, lack of flights. I feel like years ago, they used to do something like where they'd start one city in the U.S. and then start going out, and further. And they kind of did that. They went right from the first city, kind of right out of the country, pretty much right away. Mm-hmm. And then they would kind of come back towards they ended in Panama, and then they go to Florida, and then they go to wherever their main, whatever the family was, New York, whatever. They'd kind of have couples of different stops along the way during the finale. In the last few seasons, they've been doing it pretty much. It's all right in the same city. Mm-hmm. They arrive in the city, and that's the whole leg, and then that's the finale. And that has, in my opinion, made it a little bit more. I don't want to say boring, but it's made it a little bit more straightforward of a final leg. Even if you remember the season with the reality TV wars, right? And they had the season that was won by that was last season, I think, right?
Joey Chestnut and them in there.
No, that was a couple seasons ago, but the one that was
Nick and Vic
and all that, yeah. And
Colin Christie
won, yeah, thank you. That was again kind of all in the same city, and once one group gets ahead or one group gets behind, there's only 3 teams. They've also had it happen where there's 4 teams in the finale. I like when there's a little bit more unpredictability in the finale. Once the team kind of gets ahead, they kind of stay ahead because you're not traveling all over the city. You're not traveling that far. You're not going to, like I said, there used to be we go to Panama, then we go to Florida, then we go to New York, all in the same episode. And you miss your flight, or there's a lot of variance.
Yeah.
In this case, you're basically going in a 10-block radius, and it's easier for production costs to get over the same city and just film. But I feel like if they had more kind of big, at least you're going from Louisiana, then you're going up to even over Florida, then over to Georgia, whatever, go to Atlanta for the finale. Something where you're kind of not all in the same spot, and there's more variance. I think is a little more fun with the finale. But I understand production costs and everything like that, and keeping everything kind of centrally located. It just makes it like, if somebody gets out in front, unless they really screw up their finish and win. It's been the last few. If you look at the last few seasons, the finale has been whoever. There hasn't been anybody coming from behind catching the other team in the finale. Whoever gets out in front stays out front the whole finale.
I don't know. The ones that I watched, I think there was some variance to it. Last year, that was the drums. You messed up one part. Everybody kept missing the one screw or whatever. Was that last season?
Yeah. That was a weird final challenge too.
And then the challenge before that I remember at least watching was with Team Big Brother, and they had to go through an airplane to find pieces to build like a plane as well. So like that stuff, the puzzles are the hardest part. Yeah. The puzzle this year was kind of simple.
Yeah. Maybe it was just this season. I don't know. This season was kind of a dumpster fire, anyways. Yeah. In my opinion, but there's some good things that definitely happened. There's definitely some entertaining stuff. There's it wasn't a bad season by any means. It wasn't my favorite season. But it was fun. There was some good stuff that came out of it. I feel maybe you're right. Maybe it was just the finale. Maybe it was just that it wasn't enough like really challenging things.
Nothing was that hard.
Right. So like once you got ahead, you just complete the challenge, done.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing was that hard.
So and then the teams that struggled were the teams that were, the teams that struggled were the teams that weren't in first. The team that was in first stayed in first. They did everything easily.
Yeah.
The second and third place teams were the ones who were having struggles, and they got further and further behind as the team that was up front just stayed out front.
I mean, some of the struggles didn't have to be either, but...
Right. We'll get to it. So they went to New Orleans. What was the first thing they did when they got to New Orleans?
First thing they had to do was go to... Wasn't it? They had to go to... I forgot the name of a park to get their clue.
Yep, that was Louis Armstrong Park.
Louis Armstrong Park. Then they had to go to Bourbon Street and get on a float and collect... 100 beads, 50 red, 50 gold, that I don't remember what they call them now. Not the MC, but the what do you call him? Like it was the leader of the parade, the float, master or something. From the example that they had, it was large beads. They were throwing all different kinds of beads, all different colored beads. They can only get specific ones in order to pass through. That one's not really a technical thing. It's just the luck of when someone throws it. So it kind of was out of anybody's control who got it.
Yeah, it was... The only real thing was... it's called the Grand Marshal.
Grand Marshal. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Google. Grand Marshal. I can't think of the word either.
Hey, Google.
Hey, Google. Yes.
Google, what's the name of the guy from New Orleans?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they only had could do the big ones. So some of them had the big, some of the small. They had only do big ones. So it was.
Yeah, they tried to go up there. It was Hung and Chi. And even Will and James tried to go and show small beads. You can't have small beads. They have to have large and in charge beads.
Exactly.
Giant beads.
And the only real thing with this one was that Madison and Riley, they got taken to the wrong side of the town.
Yeah, that's the reason they got to last because. Oh my gosh, their taxi driver was lost. So they eventually just got out of the taxi and just started running to find the park themselves. It did probably save them some time.
It didn't seem like they're that far away, though. It seemed like they're on the south side, so on the north side. I'm like, well, they must be like 100 miles away, but it seemed like it was just kind of like the other side of the street, really.
I'm pretty sure you could see the street when they got out. Yeah. They showed the sign, so I think the guy just needed to turn around, but whatever.
So they got to the park last. They finally got there. They said they got to take a shortcut. I guess they got a little lost. Yeah. So Will and James got the first, then Hung and Chi, and then Madison Riley. And then they had to go on the float. Mm-hmm. They got done that same order. It seemed like Will and James got done the fastest by quite a bit. And then Hung and Chi, and then it was Madison Riley, and it seemed like it was relatively close by that point, and then they kind of started to have some separation between the three teams.
I mean, Will and James, I think, just had probably more sitting on the bottom of the float. That's why, because they were just ignoring some of them. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. So after they got off the float, they had to put what they put on the armor, not the armor, but it's the
basically like a washboard.
Yeah.
Basically, wear a washboard, walk down the street with the band,
and dance and play it.
I think it was called Cafe Beignet.
Yeah.
Which is extremely popular, I think, there. My sister actually, we have some dough like mix out in the kitchen that she gave me from there that I still haven't made. So I don't know if it's good, but we're going to try it anyways because I heard they're delicious.
Sounds good.
They had to dig through King's Cakes for the little baby that they hide usually on Mardi Gras, and whoever gets it has good luck for the year.
There you go. Mm-hmm. So they're going through this trade, and they brought 2 other huge racks of them. So they had to go through and find the one. Needle haystack is not even doesn't mean to describe it.
I mean, if you don't know what it looks like, then you're gonna have a hard time because they're like small. They're very tiny.
Baked in
from what they showed, what?
It's baked into the cake basically. So
right. Cake. I mean, from what they showed though, it looked like the baby was a little bigger than what I've seen when I've had one. But I mean, they're tiny. Yeah. They're like an inch and a half big. They have to dig through a cake, and it's dough. It's not like soft cake. Right. So it's harder. You have to actually really feel around for it. And it's easy to miss. I mean, for sure. Well, two teams missed it. Yeah. So after they find that, what do they have to do? They had to do their next roadblock. Well, before we go into that, they had to each eat. Oh, yeah. And then after that, they each had to eat six between the team of the delicious beignets. And Will almost puked a couple times. It said it's like it was so much sugar, he couldn't get it all down. I'm not sure. She kept saying it was dry. It was like the cinnamon challenge. I don't agree with that, though. I've had you've had fried dough. Fried dough to me isn't extremely dry, but it's chewy and, it's dough, so it's extremely filling. Those suckers were huge. Yeah, they were huge. For me, it's like it was a bit like eating a filled donut. I guess for me, I wouldn't complain. I'd get it down, but to me, if it would, I can understand having trouble getting through, that, especially if you're not, you don't eat like that usually, and whatever. I could see it, but I would have ate them for them. They looked delicious. I would like to go there and try them for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, so they do that. They go on. What's next? Bridge the gap. So basically, they had to go on one of the many bridges across Mississippi, Old Man River, and wasn't exactly bungee jump, but they had to jump off the bridge to grab their clue and hold on to it as they're swinging in order to get to the next part. And these are both roadblocks. So the first roadblock, one had to do, the other one had to do. So this was both partners had to be involved in this like. So I hope they chose wisely. I don't know if they did, but they all got through the challenges at least. You couldn't hide in this one. You couldn't have your worst person set out. They both had to take part. You had to assume that one of them was going to be a heights thing, so if the first one wasn't, the second one definitely was going to be. That would have been my thinking, because they really didn't do anything heights except for one other thing. Yeah, it wasn't really much. You're right. No. You're right. So they had to jump, grab the clue, and they could swing, and then once they got done, what they have to do? They had to repel with their partner down the bridge to the next part. Right. And then after they got done with that, what was the next part? They tried a great, giant, big blue ball. Yes. They had to get it out of the fence, roll it down the street to, the world's largest, it's like world's largest Mardi Gras factory world Mardi Gras, or something like that. Yeah. Basically from there, they had to find a chest with puzzle pieces, which were actually strips of fabric of the globe that they had to put together, velcro it onto the ball, and place it on one of the floats to be checked. Yep, so they put it flush to it. It was basically like Velcro, basically. Yeah, it was Velcro. Put it on there, so it's flush and there's no gaps. You had to do the puzzle correctly, put it on there straight up, and then get it checked. Mm-hmm. And there's 32 pieces to the puzzle, and there was just the oceans were. Obviously hard because it's all blue on a blue surface. Right, so if you put the wrong strip in the wrong spot, really, how do you know? Yeah. Because there's some that I'm sure had 2 pieces of ocean. One spot might have had 1 piece of ocean. So you really had to go off of if there was any speck of anything on there to match it to something else. For sure. And, in some parts, it looks like parts of South America kind of look like Africa. They were trying to fit Australia together, and there was another part that was making it kind of match, but it really wasn't. Yeah, and and granted, the world used to be one big mass. So you can look at that and put it together. But you said
Africa is basically used to fit in South America, so.
Yeah. I'm like, the world used to be one big mass. What are you talking about? It's still the world. I understand what you mean.
It used to be all one big, the land masses. So now,
However, erosion and everything has definitely changed the.
Well, sure. That's what I'm saying.
Fit exactly the same.
Not anymore, right? But the whole idea is you can kind of see, okay, this is Africa, this is South America. They kind of look the same, but actually just kind of inverted on each other.
Well, I think the best way to do it is start with what you know. You start with the United States, start with North America, and then go from there. And you just lay it out on the ground like everybody did. That's the easiest way to do it instead of wasting your time attaching it and the energy and getting it wrong.
Yeah, and then you have to take it down, and it's a big. You have to push it all up on the thing, even and it's wrong. You have to pull it down.
All of them, pretty much, I think, had to take it down and fix it. Maybe not Madison and Riley because we didn't see it.
Right.
But
and then hung the cheap holders on and it all fell apart, and it was a disaster. So after they're done with that, after they're done, they get it checked, and it's correct, and it's flush, and it's made to the actual globe. What's next?
Go to the finish line.
Race to the finish line. So they get
in. The Saints go marching in.
Exactly.
Let's go, Drew Brees.
Taysom Hill and Drew Brees run the show. So they get
Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas, yes, and Kamara and Alvin Kamara.
Yes.
So you go ahead, right?
Many points.
Many points. Thank you. So after that's all set up, you get a taxi, you go to the Superdome, and then to the Superdome and run on the field up to where the all the teams are standing there making the gauntlet, cheering for you, and you get to the big stage at the finish line. See Phil, and Phil tells you 13,000 miles, blank number of cities, countries, blank and blank, you are the official winners of the Amazing Race. And that's what everybody wants to hear. That's the end of the race. That's the end of the line. And there you go. So.
I wasn't on the Amazing Race, but I once ran through the Buffalo Bills Stadium, down their tunnel, across the 50-yard line.
There you go.
With people cheering for me. So I know how it feels to win the Amazing Race.
How many millions of dollars did you get for that, Jessica?
I won nothing. I had to pay for it. I did get a medal.
You got a t-shirt and a medal.
I got a free t-shirt and I got a medal, and I finished. I didn't kill myself twice when I did it, and I got to see meet some of the prospects. Most of them, I don't think, stayed on the team, but I know what it feels like.
So you won $1 million also, right?
Yes, kind of like how people like cake, so of course I'm going to do the cake challenge. I had a thing I can relate.
Yeah.
I once ran across the 50-yard line at a stadium.
I once had dinner on the Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah? That means nothing for the race.
I came out the player's entrance, onto the field at the 50-yard line.
Did you run and did people clap for you?
People did clap for me. I won an award.
Did you?
Yeah.
But you didn't run, so it means nothing.
I didn't have to run. Why would I run? I didn't want to get all sweaty. I was dressed up nice.
Oh. Mm-hmm. I know how it feels more.
Okay. So what was the other one? Is that the one that they said we once ate a cake? So what was the thing? What was the one that had this one though?
Will loves cake. He's got to do the King's cake, even though it's really not cake. It's bread.
Right.
It's a sweetened bread. So that's what drove me crazy. I'm pretty sure there was another one too, but I can't.
Yeah, I can't remember what the other one was.
I just remember the cake one. Yeah. Oh, they've been to New Orleans. I think they also were to New Orleans, so something they related to with that too.
I can't remember what it was. Until they went to Mardi Gras once. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I like cake, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be good at a cake challenge to find a baby in a cake.
Right.
But anyways, I had to say it. I can relate.
Sure.
Same thing.
Of course. It's the exact same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Gosh, I wish I could remember the one line it was. They said about how they something so stupid, like, I can relate to that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know. I remember going in the kitchen on the commercial and I kept talking about it. It was something, I don't remember. We both said that we did something similar, so of course. I don't know.
This is bad TV, so I don't know how it works.
That's fine. Whatever.
So, the show team running out, and the team that got out first seemed like they were way ahead the whole time. Yeah. They usually try to make it somewhat suspenseful who's going to win. They didn't even care.
They really didn't.
They didn't. It was just here's the one. It's over. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, because you couldn't even tell with the time difference. Like, they made the time difference seem like it was huge, so I can only imagine.
So, and they usually don't do that. They usually make it, seem close. In this case, it was
more
one team seemed to be way out front, right?
It was just kind of like, oh, this is what's going to happen. Oh, look, they finished. Okay.
Yep.
That's
so...
Fine. There's no racing somebody else.
No, it was pretty much the suspense was who's going to finish second.
Yeah, it really was.
That was really it. They kind of edit it, make it suspenseful who's going to finish second at that point. Really, who cares?
Yeah.
So, as we finish up here, let's talk about what happened. Who finished the race? Who won the race? Anything else to add before you go into that, or you want to just talk about that?
I think we can jump right in.
Cool. So,
just like to the river.
Exactly. So, who finished the race? Who won the $1 million?
Will and James.
Will and James, yeah. So Will and James finished his leg. This is the third win. Fourth win. Fourth win, and the one that mattered. Obviously, the one the race. Second was Hung and Chi, and Madison Riley had a bad day. They're bound to have one. They really didn't have any of the whole race. This was the first real bad one.
They kind of went from 3 and 4 to 1, 4 times in a row. So
Sure.
I didn't really see the decline like that. It's kind of like they were strong the whole time. They're always in the top 5, but they just... Yeah, I know. I'm happy they lost too. It's fine.
Yeah,
I wanted Hung and Chi to win at this point.
Yeah, I did too.
Nobody wanted to win one.
Nope, that's the way it is. It's reality TV. The reality TV, you never really get the result you want usually, but either way, they
always get what you want.
Or ever.
Yeah, you.
Really, or ever.
I sing to my nephew and he gets mad at me.
That's fine. So the. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I would have liked to Hung and Chi win too. Madison Riley had said, but they didn't win any legs until they won 4 in a row, right? Or they won 1, then they won 3 in a row, whatever.
Who's that?
Madison Riley.
They won 4 in a row.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you're mad too, huh?
They didn't really do much. Until they didn't do much until the end, and they peaked right at the end, and were cruising. Right? They looked like they were just going to cruise right through it, but it's hard to win 5 legs in a Amazing Race. It's just like anything else, right? It's hard to hit a hole in one golf. It's hard to It's hard to bat 300 in baseball. It's hard to do those kinds of things. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But they seem to be peaking at the right time. So I thought they were going to be ready to go, but it's one of those things where you're kind of bound to have a bad one at some point. Like I said, with Corey and Tyler, their first season. They were cruising. They were like, it was like there's no way they're losing. They're just way ahead of everybody. They're having a good time, but again, you're always bound to have a bad leg. Mm-hmm. And Tyler and Corey had the worst leg probably imaginable on their final episode, and they were easily gonna win. It was like no way they're losing, and then they finished third. It was abysmal. Yeah, it was terrible. So sometimes that does happen. Sometimes I think that was last season they finished second, right? I mean. They did good, but they finished second. They were cruising the whole time, and I thought Madison Riley they hit their stride. They were ready to go. They were, they were peaking at the right time, but once in a while you have a bad leg, and that's what happened. And this week, this was just not their episode. This was not their week. Their leg, unfortunately for them. So they finished third, and then Hung and Chi. They were fading. I thought for a while. I thought they'd for sure finish third this leg. And they did well. They actually finished second, and I'm not really sure how close they were to first. Yeah. But they did a good job. I thought that they kind of. I thought they had a good leg, and they just didn't quite get there. But I said they hadn't really been strong for a few episodes. They were starting to fall behind.
I think the King's Cake is what messed him up. If he didn't miss the baby, he could have been right on Will and James's Dupas.
Yes, they were right. It was right. I mean, it fell off. It kind of fell off the side a little bit, so you couldn't really see that being right there.
Right in front of him, but it was on the edge, so it was past the giant stack of cakes.
Right,
and I can only imagine what row he got that one out of.
Right.
Could have been on the bottom. Who knows?
Well, right. And Hung
Most
saying,
likely not, though.
Well, right. Hung was saying, "Oh, I can see right there, but she can't help him."
Yeah.
Right. So and he finally gets everything pulled out, and it's right there. He finally got through the rest of them. Mm-hmm. But like I said, they did well overall in this race. It just wasn't. They were starting to fade. They weren't really hitting their stride and at the right time, and they did well. They did better than I thought they would this week. They actually made a game of it.
Yeah.
I thought they'd be just dead rights before it even started.
Right. To be fair, feel like I guess it's the first week that they actually had to compete in a very long time.
No, you're right. You're right.
They all brought each other there. Everybody agreed to do that. So they all got each other there, and this was the final time that they had to compete.
Yeah.
And the volleyball boys messed it up. Do they regret bringing people with them that they like? I mean, that sacrificed you winning. You could have brought people that weren't as good as the other teams that you brought with you, but.
And and it's like you said too. It makes so much difference. Survivor. You don't really bring people that you can help them.
It's not there's no gameplay. It's play the game. It's not a gameplay. It's not. You don't have to make friends. You don't have to have any. Make people like you, I guess, in the fact that they're gonna U-turn you. So you gotta be friendly, but you're not there to bring people with you. You're there to play the game and be really good at it.
Right, and like you said, and so but also too, you can't really ultimately control who stays and who goes. Because everybody has to meet the challenges on their own.
Yes,
and
unless you're helping them every time.
But if they have to finish it, so if they mess it up, they mess it up. There's nothing you can't be like, hold on, let me go bring you here. They have to kind of get themselves there with some assistance maybe. But
I mean, to a point, but and not if it's okay. Well, you have to complete this task, but you're not told how to do the whole thing. So if someone figures it out and tells you, then it helps you. Like, for example, the horns. You got to plug the horns in. I don't remember if they helped each other with that, but I think they did. The lamb's head that they had to get and put on a plate and put in their little igloo.
Silverware.
Like, the silverware, and measuring. If you don't give those to other people, they're not going to make it through. Some people figure it out.
Yeah.
That may not have. Instead, you tell these people, and then you bring them with you.
Yeah.
So there always seems to be a task where you can tell people what they need to do.
Yeah. So and if you're of course if they're way behind your for example if they do a detour, and they do the other detour and you do the different one, and they are way behind, they never see you. There's ways that they were all good enough to be able to be around each other so they can help each other. I mean, nobody was so bad that they're in the back of the pack,
right?
And then everyone else in the front of the pack, and they didn't cross paths to help each other.
Most parts of the team though would do they would split up almost in half. Yeah. So then each other could help who was there.
That's true.
So I mean, there's always a way to help people.
And I think there's it's ultimately up to the team to complete the task. But yeah, if you are getting a little extra heads up over another team, that team you're gonna be able to jump. And they said even when they burned the other they burned the second U-turn to make sure that
was that a good strategy? I don't think so. I think they should have flipped somebody that was behind them. And then kept Ishmar and Aparna, who weren't as strong as the other teams that you could have blocked. And also, they always helped each other, because even with that episode, with the planting on the water, as soon as Will and James got there, Hung told them exactly what each plant was and where to plant them. So I mean, they helped each other the whole time. You can't say they didn't.
No, I didn't.
But I mean, like, there was a challenge in each episode where you could help each other. Yeah. Even though they had to complete it, you could tell them what to do, and then made it easier. Yeah,
for sure. And they had to be able to do it themselves. But you could give them the instructions to help them do it.
Yeah, if someone tells you exactly what to do, I hope you can follow instruction to do that. If not, you really shouldn't probably be on the race, because it's a lot of figuring things out.
So either way, so that all kind of leads to the climax of Will and James winning. And why did Will and James win? What did they do this week, or the season? I guess
made it through any kind of downfall they had. I can't say they never argued. They had their arguments. They had their drama. They just overcome what they had to. They had help that got them through things as well. They just stuck together with their teams, what's it called? Alliance, thank you. And made it to the last one, and thankfully the last one was easy enough for them to complete and get through without any help.
Yeah, they're obviously super fans, so it's good for them, especially James.
They practiced a lot.
So they kind of knew what to expect going into it. It's not like they've never seen the show before.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing is, yes, the Alliance helped, and then they were one of those teams where, I would have predicted that Madison and Riley were gonna win, but on the chance of Madison and Riley have a bad leg, who has the second best shot of winning? I'd say James and Will, because they had won legs kind of throughout the show, where Hung and Chi won early, and they didn't really win anything after that.
Yeah.
So I think, so the Alliance is a big thing, though. I think what you got to learn from the Alliance is you can get yourself to the end with the Alliance. That's great. But like I said, 2 teams made a very bad decision by taking Will and James down. Will and James won the race, and they got help along the way to get there. So everybody else is a loser. Mm-hmm. Everybody else loses. One team wins, everybody else loses. So if you're not the team that wins, you made a bad decision.
Well, right, you guys can work together all you want, but unless you're winning the $1 million, you didn't make a good decision to
Correct.
do that. Yeah.
So again, you had to get there, so maybe they wouldn't have got there without each other's help, perhaps, like you said.
I mean, they all got a lot of help from each other.
Right.
Each team, the top 5 got help from each other for most of the game. If they didn't get that help, who knows if they would have made it through. Like, Gary and D'Angelo, I don't think would have made it as far if they didn't get some help.
Yeah.
I don't think they were completely, idiots. They couldn't do it on their own, but they needed some help. Everybody needed some help to get to the end.
For sure.
And working together when you're saying you're not going to U-turn, each other, that helps a lot. And in the end, Madison and Riley, they could have taken advantage of that final was a U-turn. Mm-hmm. And they could have U-turned Will and James. They were behind them.
Yeah.
They could have did any of them, but they just decided not to.
And I think Madison and Riley knew that they were the strongest team. So I figured, well, we'll go to the end, we'll make sure nobody U-turns us because we'll be good with all them. Because anybody could have, in theory, U-turned. D'Angelo and Gary could have U-turned Madison and Riley because they got their first 2, right? So that could have happened, as well. But I think they used that strategy as, hey, let's stick together because we don't want to put the target on our back. We want to keep the strong team together.
Yeah.
But. And honestly, if things would have played out like normal, I think they would have won. They had a really bad leg, things didn't go their way, and they lost. Mm-hmm. I think they probably would have won if it was a normal situation. If they didn't have the worst leg of their time. Mm-hmm. If you pick out a leg at random, I guess the odds are they probably were going to win that leg. They won the most legs on the race, but they had a bad leg. And they had other teams with them that were also strong, right? If they had gone the end with Kalen and with whomever, even Aparna, and Eswar, if they would have gone to them with them, even if these guys had a bad leg, they probably still could have overcome that and won.
Right.
But they kept 2 other teams with them who were also strong, so they had a bad leg. They couldn't overcome that because there's 2 other teams that were just as good as them who are now going to jump them and get ahead.
Season was played way too safe and way too nice.
Correct.
Nobody took advantage of any kind of yield. Very little of the detours. Like, it's got to be a little more cutthroat. You want to win, you got to show you want to win. Like, yeah, make friends, but also don't get mad if you do get detoured. Like, brush it off. Not like what Aparna was getting extremely mad about. Like, it's a part of the game. That's why you don't make alliances, because as soon as you do that to them, they're going to be super angry. Instead of just being civil with everybody, and then you get U-turned, and then you get over the U-turn and just show them that you're a good team and just brush it off and say nice try. Like, that's what it's a game.
Oh, for sure. And making alliances only irritates people, and yes, that helps you get further in the game. Like you said, there are opportunities to help each other.
Yeah, until then you go against your alliance, and then you make them angry, and then they're just pissed at you. And if they're still in the game, then they're just following you and they're waiting until their turn to do it to you. Right,
and then like I said too, and also you have that you're helping each other out, which is great. But now you're keeping other teams along who are strong too, and every single team who was in that alliance of 5, 4 of them made a bad decision.
Yeah.
Right, and that's ultimately yes, you want to be nice and friendly, help each other when you can, but you don't make a blood pact like that. That was a bad idea. You say, hey, we'll help each other if we can. But you don't want to write it in stone, because now you have to help them, or else you're betraying your alliance, and the alliance of teams who are better than you are going to beat you. It's silly. It's silly.
Don't wait a challenge to tell someone the answer when they're done. Right. Don't take your time to tell somebody if you're going to be first. Just leave. Just go.
Yeah.
If you can tell someone something quick, maybe. But why? You want to win, right? I'd go to win. I'm not there to help people.
Right. Getting the help is certainly you'll certainly take the help.
Yeah.
But when you get yourself in that entangling alliance, it makes things more difficult. Will and James, I think, were the second strongest team in the final three. And when when the strongest team had a bad leg, they were always right around it. They said they won 3 legs. They were always right around. They were never the team who were like, how were they here? They were, they were strong, and had, and things broke their way, and they were a consistently good team. They had their moments, they bickered, but I also think too, one strong thing about them was they had the one player who was pretty emotional and the one player who was pretty level-headed, and that's a very, very good combination, especially on the race.
Yin and yang.
Oh, for sure. And then they definitely work well together. There's no doubt that they are a good couple. I mean, regardless of whatever you like personality-wise or you don't like, they work well together.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think it's at the end of the day, being good at challenges, being not pissing people off,
good at communication,
and that's it. And working well together, communicating well, those kinds of things. That is what wins the Amazing Race. The teams who work the best together win the Amazing Race every time. Maybe sometimes teams work equally well together, but the teams, if you don't work well together, you very rarely win the race. I know one exception, but they're not even still together, so it's fine. The couple's not even still together. That one that bickered the entire time and actually threatened to walk off the show because they're so angry at each other, and then they won, and then now they're still together. Go figure. But so Will and James, congratulations. They had a very good season. I mean, they were always right around one of the best teams. They were, I think they were in our top 3 every single time.
Yeah.
Right around there at least. And congratulations on getting engaged. That was cool. Obviously, that's not the first time it's happened. It's the first time the winner's done that. First time the winner hasn't gotten engaged. Other teams have gotten engaged at the finale or on the show, but never the winner. So cool for them. Congratulations to James Wallington. That I don't know him, but I watched his show when he had his own show on AfterBuzz TV. I watched his show, and he was a big Survivor super fan, a big Amazing Race super fan. He talked about Survivor and Amazing Race, and I watched the show when he had his own show. And I would tweet him back before he was on the Amazing Race, before he was a millionaire. Now he's too cool because he's a millionaire. But congratulations to those guys. Well done. Heartfelt, but I did not expect them to win.
Yeah.
I'm also not shocked. They really, really surprised me. They did really well.
Yeah, I agree.
Is there anything else you want to add to any final teams or anybody else who's there? Anything else you noticed?
No, I think. Oh, anything else I noticed?
Yeah.
D'Angelo having a better attitude at the end of the show.
Yeah, he wasn't bitter.
Smiles and clapping, and he's finally not angry and enjoyed his time on the show.
Yep, Gary probably talked to him. Say, hey, I think when the heat of emotions.
Yeah, say after all that energy is out and you're over, you're off the show, you have time to breathe about it, and then you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
You had that experience. Enjoy the experience you had with your friend, and you move on from there.
I think of the 3 teams that are left, I think people were rooting for Will and James quite a bit. They also were rooting for Hung and Chi quite a bit. Yeah. I think their teams were happy with the results. I said I would probably prefer Hung and Chi, but I'm happy for the guys who pulled it out, and they did a good job. It was overall it was the 3 best teams went to the end together. I think.
Yeah.
That doesn't usually happen, but congratulations to all 3.
I agree.
So as we wrap up here, I'd like to kind of talk about what's coming next season, stuff like that. We really don't know. We're definitely going to have some more content soon. There's definitely stuff to talk about, and we'll be doing that. Jessica's going to be bringing back her Masked Singer stuff. The season's pretty much over now, but we haven't watched it all. We really haven't been spoiled
at all. I haven't been spoiled at all.
I know 2 people who are on the show. I don't know who they were or what contestants they ended up being or anything, or when they even go out.
Oh, I might know one, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, so I know one guy, one girl who are on the show, and that's all I know. So we're not gonna recap every episode. We're not gonna do that, but we're gonna do something fun. Try to give you guys at least a little bit of entertainment and be able to laugh at us for being stupid. That's always fun for you guys, I guess. So we'll try to bring some of that back. I wouldn't expect it right now. Maybe after Christmas or around after the New Year.
Yeah.
Bring some of that out and have some fun. Watch the episodes, but I'm really looking forward to it. I really have gotten into the show as well, way more than I thought I would.
After you told me I didn't watch that, looks stupid.
Well,
I watched a season with my mom, and then you watched a couple episodes, and look what happened.
Well, I didn't understand what it was. Now I do. I like it a lot better. So, thanks for that. It said hopefully we'll get some Survivor, some Amazing Race at some point in the next year or 2. I don't expect it right away, but we'll see what happens. As long as everybody stays safe, it's the one that you don't want is to get teams struck with COVID or players that's right get struck with COVID where you're trying to do a reality show. That's just going to ruin the whole season. I mean, if that would be to happen, obviously. So, or production, people getting sick. It's just not something you want to do. It's reality TV. It's fun. It's entertaining. But at the end of the day, it's just TV.
Exactly. It's just TV.
It's just TV. Don't take it too seriously.
No.
We clearly don't. So don't take it too seriously.
I don't. Someone else may, but I do not.
Either way, so we'll definitely give you updates when we know more. We like to do our cast previews when the casts do come out, whatever that's going to be. Again, we'll try to give you some content in the next little bit while just to whet your appetite and give you a little something to enjoy, something to give you something to watch in your feed there when you subscribe to the show.
Wet your whistle.
Sure. Something to get you through the next, the quiet time of the TV season. There's not really much going on the next month or so. There's not really be anything new or anything to.
No reality TV. Everything else is new.
Yeah, but those shows suck. CBS is nothing now. CBS is done. There's nothing on TV. Nothing.
Is it Mom on CBS?
It's done though. After season, right? It's last season.
It's done.
Last season.
No. I don't think it's last season.
I'm pretty sure.
Anna Faris just isn't on.
Yep, I'm pretty sure it's last season.
Well, way to spoil that for me.
Did you hear that? That was just as heartbreaking. But I mean, I could be wrong. But I feel like I heard that it's ending. But who knows? I don't know.
Okay.
Cool.
Now I'm gonna look it up.
We may have to do a football preview at some point too. With playoffs, but then again.
Let's go Bills!
Then again, when you
Bills.
have a rooting interest, it's really bad to bet on your rooting interest.
I'm not betting nothing.
So, also, thank God B-Back didn't have another winner. I would have lost my shit. I would have been so pissed.
Hey.
If B-Back had another winner this season, I would have been so angry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go Bills. We'll maybe do something with the playoff preview again. I don't feel good doing that because just when you have a team you're rooting for, and you're kind of saying, well, here's how they're gonna do.
Bills to Super Bowl.
And remember what happened to the Cubs last year, Jessica?
Yeah, I don't want to bet because our team got nothing.
Exactly.
I'm not betting nothing. I'm just gonna sit there. You can talk.
I don't want to do either. I'll feel very uncomfortable.
Juju, just don't talk about the Bills.
Yeah, Juju, very
We're
bad.
not talking about them. Juju's
but hey, it will. If they go to Super Bowl, we'll join Dave Portnoy in Tampa.
Yes! Didn't you love that video I sent you?
Super cool.
That was really awesome. Even though they're Patriots fans and they're wrong. But it was pretty awesome.
Patriots are definitely playoff stuff. They have something.
I mean, now you gotta feel bad for them, I guess,
no,
right?
you root for somebody else, not for the Patriots. Anyways, this is not a sports show. We'll maybe talk about some sports the next few weeks or months, whatever. But thanks for watching the show. We appreciate it. Subscribe so you get all the updates when we do have more content. Do put out more. I almost said more shit. More stuff to put on your eyeballs and your ear holes.
Well, you said it, so you just said it anyways.
We'll have more shit to shove in your eyeballs and your ear holes, okay?
Yes.
We won't edit that out. It's happening. It's staying in. No. If you're afraid of the word shit, get off the internet. There's way worse than shit on the internet. You can tweet me at YoGrab. Tweet Jessica at
JustTH20.
You can email the show pavementroadproductions@gmail.com. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/pavementroadproductions. That's Pavement Road Productions, all spelled out. PRP, if you will.
How else would you do it?
There's no shortening, no abbreviations. It is what it is. Other than that,
shit.
Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of our show and taking it all in. And Jessica's gonna laugh at me until I stop talking, so I'm gonna stop talking.
You're a little rambling.
She's so mean to me, isn't she?
I love you, though.
I love you too.
So sarcastic.
So are you.
I know.
Okay. So be sure to subscribe, share the post. We're back soon with other fun content for you. PaperProductions@gmail.com, Facebook.com, PaperProductions, all those fun things.
Merry Christmas and happy
Merry Christmas
holidays
and happy
to everyone.
New Year and all the holidays as well. Hanukkah, all the fun stuff. We love you all, and be safe and enjoy. And we'll be back sooner than you think. Anything else, Jessica?
Take care of yourself and others.
Indeed. Thank you, Jerry Springer. Appreciate it. Other than that, for the final time, season 32. Safe show.